Hi, friends. We're going to start standing. You can have your feet together, or maybe you'd prefer them to be about hips distance apart, maybe even further. Honoring your own body, allowing that to be your guide throughout any movement practice with anyone ever. Your body is your greatest teacher. So, go ahead and have a slight bend in the knees and a slight tuck of the tailbone. The crown of the head reaches up towards the sky. And start by observing the way that the breath moves through the body, your internal wind. Notice the temperature, the texture, the way it moves, maybe in waves or in swirls. What areas is it touching? What areas is it not quite reaching within? Notice the air outside of the body. Notice its contact with bare skin. Again, observing texture and temperature, moisture content, weight, movement, or lack of it. The air is like an ocean. It heats, it cools, it contracts, it expands. It has currents and layers and secret places that no one's ever been. The air carries water like water carries air. And perhaps, in a way, they are like lovers. Water has a lot of hydrogen and a little bit of oxygen. The air has a lot of oxygen and a little bit of hydrogen, though the air is mostly nitrogen, which is left over from the cosmic primordial rubble that came together to form what we know today as home, as planet Earth. Still sitting with the feeling of the air outside and inside the body. Knowing that when we breathe in, not only are we breathing in the exhales of the forests, the plankton, the rooted ones across this planet, but we are also breathing in the cosmos, the universe, the echoes of the birth of this planet. Even through the simple act of breath, you are deeply, deeply connected to this unnameable story. With your next inhale, open the arms up towards the sky. You can have them straight up or open wide, whatever feels best to you. If it feels comfortable, maybe allow the head to drop back just a little bit or maybe a lot. Fingers spread wide, fingertips reaching out, and at the same time, the arm bones are suctioning into the body as if pinning your torso in place. And here, let us call on the sky dancers, the winged ones with their intricate vocabularies, their intimate connection with the wilderness that is air. Maybe call on them with respect, with gratitude, with the yearning for connection and guidance. To move with us throughout this practice so we may learn what it is they have to share with the human realm. Bringing the hands alongside the body. Palms come to touch the thighs, elbows pointed outwards, hinging at the waist, a slight bend in the knees, and just taking a little bow. Thank you. Bowing to the earth, bowing to the winged ones, humbling ourselves to the other beings of this planet. Thank you, thank you. Go ahead and bring the hands out about the distance of wrist to elbow. And you want them to be out in front of that energetic center, just a few finger widths below the belly button. And just listen. Notice the sensations between the palms. Notice the air, how it feels just outside the hands, between the fingertips. Allow that tailbone to tuck slightly, as if on the tailbone there was a string tied with a little anchor, anchoring you down to the earth. Crown of the head being pulled up towards the cosmos. Feeling that space being created between the ribs. And again, allowing that consciousness to drop into the hands. Allow the weight to slowly shift to that right foot. You're going to step the left foot out, so the feet are a little wider than hips distance. Go ahead and lift all 10 toes, spread them wide, and drop them down. And we're going to call on hummingbird. We're going to move the hands like two hummingbirds in courtship. They guide one another up through the air, floating up and diving down. Start by, the entire time you're going to keep the hands the same distance, so start by kind of undulating them side to side. And maybe it helps to have the eyes closed, but you may want to open if you've never done anything like this before. Feel the air like it's a thick and palpable thing, like water. Allow those swings to get larger and larger until they come to one side, and you want that top hand to be facing earthward, the bottom hand to be facing skyward. Inhale into the heart. And exhale, pressing through the air to move that bottom hand past that lower energetic center, twisting at the hips a little bit to bring the hands to the other side. Inhale and exhale. Back through center with the hips turn to the side, and that right hand pushes the air up to push that left hand up. With your exhale, feel the air between the palms. Feel that energy, that chi being pressed down and then pushed up to that height. And continue this with your own breath, moving as slowly or as quickly as you'd like, feeling the hands talking to each other, sending signals for when they're ready to move. And through this, feeling the dance of the hummingbird, the way they move joyously in that courtship, in that dance with air. Remembering that the earth, this world, is to be celebrated. That play and joy are essential parts in connecting to the nature of this planet. Moving with your inhales and exhales, moving on the wind. Taking 3 more full breaths, moving, feeling, listening. Allowing the hummingbird to teach you in its own way. And slowly those swings get smaller and smaller and smaller before resting back in front of the low belly and observing within the palms any sensations that have come forth. Perhaps there's a warmth or a tingling, a bubbling, a pulsing, a simmering. Slowly, the weight shifts back to that right foot. Slide or step, left foot next to right. Inhale, the arms reach up overhead. Those fingers point in towards one another, earthwards and in front of the body. Slowly clearing the energy from that, feeling almost as though there was a movement in the body with the hands, soothing the internal spaces. And when the hands stop, imagine that sensation moving all the way down and into the earth. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to face this way. You can still face the mat. So the feet can either be together or hips distance apart. We're going to call on the birds of prey, eagle, hawk, vulture, and any bird allies that have been catching your eye lately, whether or not they be a bird of prey, and whether or not you know their human given name. Perhaps for a moment just closing the eyes and imagining this being that's been showing up for you. Welcoming them into this space, into your hearts. We're going to come into a chair pose, slowly opening the arms out to the sides like wings, bending into the knees. You want to see those big toes peeking out, shoulder blades squeeze together and down so the heart is open. Inhale, filling the heart all the way up. And exhale, tucking the tailbone, rounding through lower, middle, upper back, bringing those hands forward about the distance of wrist to elbow. Inhale, sit bones reach back, engage through lower, middle, upper back, shoulder blades squeeze together and down. Heart opens up to the sky, to the sky nation, all the beings residing there. And exhale with your internal wind. Tucking, rounding, moving through this at your own pace for 3 more full breaths, letting it be slow, feeling it like a dance, feeling that embodiment of the winged ones. With that Last exhale here, those hands are forward. Inhale, reach them up to the sky. Cross the wrists, and as if you were coming up through water, part the air and come to standing. Arms come alongside the body, micro bend in the knees, a slight tuck of the tailbone, shoulders drawing down, crown of the head, reaching up and feeling, noticing, observing. Go ahead and lift all 10 toes, spread them wide, bring them back to the earth. Shift some weight to the right foot, to the left, to the balls of the feet, to the heels, lifting all 10 toes once again and bringing them back down. And go ahead and bend the knees a little bit here. Not a whole lot, not like in chair, just a little bit. And you're not sticking the bum out, but tucking it down. You're going to cross the wrists in front of one another. I'll face you for this first one. And palms are facing one another, a slight tuck of the chin into the chest. With your inhale, pressing into the ground to stand up straight as that bottom arm lifts the top arm. Exhale, part the wings, bringing them out to a T at first. And go ahead and pull all those fingers in tight towards one another. Bend into the elbows just a little bit and sharply bend into those wrists, allowing the breath to fully fill up the chest. And with your exhale, imagining that breath moving through those wings and out through the fingertips. Inhale, filling up fully. Exhale, palms face earthward and landing onto a perch. Bend the knees. Exhale, fingertips, they all grab one another. So making kind of like beaks. And you're going to lean forward, allowing the weight to shift into the balls of the feet and the toes, and bend those wrists sharply. And so the hands aren't straight back, they're to the sides, right? Leaning forward and allowing those toes to grip, feeling as though they're like talons grabbing onto the edge of a cliff or a tree branch, or here the birds land on top of the cacti. That might not be as pleasant of a image for you. But feeling that breath, gazing over into the abyss. And exhale to start again, bending the knees. Right wrist crosses over left, palms face one another. I'll turn this way once again. Inhale, lifting up from the earth, arms reach overhead. Exhale, part the wings, bring them out to the sides. Bend into the elbows. Fingers come together, bend into the wrists. Stand up strong, straight, and proud, as if you're flying, gazing over the landscape, taking in the medicine of that broader view that the birds of prey have. That broader vision to see the entirety of our lives, to get perspective. Exhale, hands earthward, bending into the knees as if landing. Exhale, fingertips come together, bending at the wrist, reaching back into the sides, leaning forward, gripping the earth with those talons, heart reaching forward, breathing in. And exhale to start again. Good. One more time. Hands facing one another, or the palms. Press into the earth to rise up into the air. Part the wings, gazing over the landscape. Taking in that broader view, knowing where we have come from and where we are going. Exhale. to land. Arms reach back, bend at the wrist, leaning forward, gripping the earth with the toes, gazing bravely into the beyond, into what is next, diving down into trust. Go ahead, bend the knees, cross right wrist over left. And this time, as that bottom arm lifts, that top arm, you're only going to bring it out to the distance of the heart, just in front of you. And simultaneously, we're going to lift the right knee. I am going to switch this to this side so that the microphone keeps working. Okay. So with your inhale, that weight shifts to that left foot, bringing the arms forwards. And as you open the arms like wings, press through the heel, engage through the thigh, lifting that leg. And maybe the leg's not very lifted. Maybe it's pretty low off the ground, honoring wherever you're at. And exhale. The arms come up to the sky as you slowly reach the right leg up and back, pulling as if you were pulling something down from the sky, bending the elbows, and then reaching the fingertips back. Lifting that back leg only as high as you feel comfortable. Fingers reaching back, shoulder blades squeezing together, heart reaching forwards. Noticing the little micro adjustments that are happening, that intelligence within the body to keep you balanced. And exhale, slowly step that right foot back. That back knee meets the ground. Arms reach up overhead. And exhale, cactus the elbows, bending them at 90 degrees. Feeling a slight scooping sensation beneath the shoulder blades, that heart opened up towards the cosmos, to the infinite beyond, to all the possibilities of you. Inhale into the heart. Exhale, part the air. The hips start to pull back. Fingertips reach back. Palms face earthward. And slowly bring that front leg towards straight. And if instead you need to have the fingers down the entire time to help you, do that. Toes are flexed up towards the sky. That heart is reaching forward, bowing to this earthly journey. Noticing what you see, the texture of the mat or the floor that you're on. If there's, on my mat, there's a lot of tiny little pebbles. Inhale. Arms reach up towards the sky. Lift that back knee up. Bending those elbows. Exhale, the arms come forward. Right elbow lifts and places into the nook of the left elbow. You can either grab onto opposite shoulders here for a moment, connect the backs of the hands, or reach all the way around and connect the palms. Fingertips reach up towards the sky. Exhale, lean forwards. And as you lean forward, slowly shift the weight into that left foot. Fingertips pierce forward, toes pierce back. Exhale, bend the knees, connect elbows and knee as much as you're able. Maybe you can't quite touch them. And exhale, step that right foot down, unfurl your wings, opening them up to the sides, coming back into that chair position. Inhale. Exhale, tuck the tailbone round. Inhale, open up. And exhale, dancing on air. One more time. Inhale, arms reach up towards the sky, cross the wrists, part the air as if coming up through water. Micro bend the knees, tuck the tailbone, drop the shoulders, reach the crown of the head up. Either have a soft gaze or close the eyes and feel. Notice. Have a sip of water or tea if you need it. And we're going to do that again on the other side. Go ahead and cross. Left wrist on top of right this time. Bend the knees. Palms facing one another. Chin tucked slightly. With your inhale, as if you're breathing up from the earth, allow that energy to move up through the legs. Right arm lifts the left. Part the wings. Bring them out to the sides. Remember, it looks like this. Elbows bent. Fingers pulled in toward another, bending sharply at the wrists. Gazing bravely at the intricate patterns, at that broader perspective of this world, knowing that your story is just one amongst many. Inhale. And exhale, palms face the earth, bend the knees, landing. Fingertips grab one another. Reach back, standing up straight, allowing those toes to grip to hold you. And exhale. Left wrist crosses over right 2 more times. Inhale. Lifting up, parting the wings, bend at the elbows, at the wrists. Exhale, hands earthward. Fingertips meet one another as the heart reaches forward, gazing over the ledge. Allowing this broader perspective to inform you of what is no longer serving, of what patterns need to be let go of, left in your wake. One more time, moving with your own breath. The vision of the birds of prey can hone in. They can see great distances, but they can also hone in and kind of zoom, bring into clarity what it is that they're looking for, whether it's something they need to shift away from or something they need to fly towards. Left wrist crosses in front of right. Go ahead and lift up the toes, spread them wide, bring them back down. With your inhale, that right arm lifts the left to the distance of the heart as that left knee lifts. Exhale, open the arms like wings, kicking out through that left heel, engaging that left thigh. Exhale, bending that left knee as much as you need to bring it back in space. Arms reach up, and as if they were pulling something from the sky, pulling them down, bending those elbows before reaching fingertips back. The birds of prey themselves, even when it looks like they're floating, being held by an invisible hand, their feathers are constantly making micro adjustments. Balance is not a still state. It is ever evolving, a continuous shifting. Exhale, arms come forward as that ball of the back foot meets the ground, as is the back knee. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, bend at the elbows. Heart is open to all the possibilities. Inhale, arms reach up, those back toes tuck under, engage that left thigh, lift the knee. Exhale, bend the elbows again. Inhale, into the heart. And with your exhale, the arms come forward, left arm lifts a little bit. Place the left elbow into the nook of the right. Maybe for a moment just grabbing opposite shoulders. And then meeting the backs of the hands or reaching all the way around to touch the palms. Feeling this for a moment, maybe playing with where feels the best. Reaching fingertips up, pulling elbows down. Slowly, that torso comes forwards, sliding that back foot until you can lift it. Those fingertips pierce forward as the toes reach back. Exhale to round, connecting elbow and knee. Stepping left foot next to the right, coming into that chair position. Unfurling the arms, opening up. Exhale, round. Inhale, sit bones reach back. Heart opens. 2 more times. Arms reach up towards the sky. Cross the wrists, part the air. Stand. And feel. Notice how the internal winds have changed from the beginning of class. Maybe it's subtle, maybe it's really obvious. Noticing how even here, the body is continuously adjusting, even if it's very subtle. Always making micro adjustments. This intelligence to keep you balanced. We're going to move through the eagle. So right wrist crosses over left, bend the knees. Actually, we'll call this the osprey because I can actually see an osprey nest with 2 adult osprey from here. Bend into the knees, micro tuck of the tailbone and tuck of the chin, hands facing one another. We'll go through this twice. Inhale, from the earth, lifting up, parting the wings, bending at elbows and wrists. Exhale, hands face earthward. Come down. Fingertips find one another as the heart and the weight shift forward, bending at the elbows. One more time in silence, left wrist crossed over right. And the weight shifts into that left foot. Inhale as the bottom arm lifts the top. Open the arms out like wings, and this time bend into that left knee and cross that right leg over as if you were sitting into a chair. And you can keep the foot like this, or maybe you can hook that ankle all the way around. Inhale into the heart. And with your exhale, the arms come forward. That left elbow lifts a little bit. Place it into the nook of the right elbow, connecting the backs of the hands or the palms. Maybe with your inhale, reaching the fingertips up towards the sky, and with your exhale, pulling the elbows down towards earth. Finding that space in between that feels good. Actively pressing those arms together and pulling them apart at the same time. And with your next exhale, slowly leaning forward as much as you're able. Maybe you're able to connect elbows and knees, maybe not. Unfurling that top leg, reaching it back. Fingertips pierce forward, right toes pierce back. And exhale slowly. That back ball of the foot finds the earth, then the knee. And with your exhale, unfurl the arms, cactusing them, opening the heart. Exhale. Slowly part the air, fingertips reach back, heart reaches forwards. Hips draw back, coming onto that left heel, toes flex up. Bowing to the earthly journey. Inhale, arms reach forward. And exhale. We're going to take a twist here. Belly button pulls in and up towards the spine. The right hand can stay onto the thigh if that's more comfortable. If you're able to bring that right elbow outside the knee, go ahead and do so. Fingertips reach back, all of them. That right hand is facing skyward. Left palm is facing earthward. Feeling the air between the two hands. Gazing back. Noticing with that broader perspective where you have come from. What it has taken for you to get to where you are now today. Honoring the past versions of yourself that had to go through so much trial and error. Breathing into the heart, and with an exhale, sending a message to those past versions of self. Maybe an I love you, and I'm sorry. You're doing amazing. Inhale, arms reach up, back toes are tucked under. Engage that back thigh, lifting the knee. Exhale, bend the elbows, that heart opened up to the unfurling sky, the endless possibilities of what lies ahead, the future versions of you. With your next exhale, arms come forwards. Go ahead and lift that right arm. Place the right elbow into the nook of the left. Connect the backs of the hands or the palms. Inhale, fingertips reach up towards the sky. Exhale, lean forward, slide, drag, hop that back foot forward until you can lift it up. Exhale. Bring elbow and knee towards one another. Part the air. Step that right foot next to left. Coming into your chair pose. You know where we're going here. Move through this a few times. Inhale, arms reach up towards the sky, part the air, and feel. Allow the mind to wander up and down the limbs. Noticing the currents of energy. And gonna move through that sequence one last time on the other side. Left wrist crosses over right. Bend into the knees. Tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin. Pressing up from the earth to stand. Bottom arm lifts the top. Part the air. Exhale. Hands face the earth. Draw down, landing, perching. Gazing bravely into tomorrow, into the unknown. One more time in silence. Weight shifts to that right foot. With your inhale, lift that top arm to the hearts, to that height of the heart, and inhale, open up the wings, bend into that right knee, cross left knee over right. Maybe hooking that ankle around, maybe not. Inhale into the heart. Exhale, the arms come forwards. Lifting that left elbow up, placing it into the nook of the right, connecting the backs of the hands or palms. Staying here for a moment, feeling those micro adjustments, letting it be a reminder for everyday life as we move throughout our day. Balance is not a still state. Exhale to lean forward, unfurl that top leg, reach it back. Fingers reach forward, belly button pulls in and up. Exhale, back foot finds the earth, as does back knee. Inhale and exhale. Open up into those cactus arms, shoulder blades squeezed together and down. Belly button pulled in towards spine. Exhale, part the air, those hips start to draw back, coming on to that right heel, toes flex forward. Again, bringing the hands to the ground anytime you need to. Feeling that front heel and that back knee magnetizing towards one another, pulling in. Inhale, bend into that right knee. Arms reach up. Exhale, taking that twist. The hand can come to the ground, or if you just want to reach the arms out to the sides, you can. Or you can take the variation I'm taking, bringing the left elbow outside of that right knee. All the fingertips pointing back, that bottom hand facing skyward, the top one facing earthward. Again, honoring your past selves. This is all part of the broader perspective. This is all part of your story, your earthly journey. But not lingering too long, allowing what needs to fall away within the wake of our wings. Inhale, arms reach up, exhale, heart opens to the future possibilities. Back toes are tucked under, engage that back leg, lifting the knee. Exhale, the arms come forward. This time lift that right elbow, place it into the nook of the left, connect palms or back of hands. Feeling this for a moment. Exhale to lean forwards. Slowly lifting that back leg. Exhale, bringing elbows and knees towards one another, stepping left foot besides right, opening up the wings, and exhale, round. Good. 2 more times. Arms reach up, part the air, and stand. Big inhale through the nose, through the mouth, sigh it out. And we're going to find our way to seated, whatever way works for you. I personally like to open my feet wide, toes pointed out, and slowly squat down into a low squatting position, and then reach my hands out and fall back onto my bum. But do whatever works for your body in this moment. We are going to come to a gentle hip opener, honoring another being of the wind, of the air, the butterfly. Soles of the feet find one another. Those legs could be out pretty far, more like a diamond shape. You can feel free to stack up pillows or anything beneath the knees, or those feet could come in really close. Wherever you are, you can grab onto the feet, the ankles, the shins, and kind of pull yourself forward just a little bit, just so you're sitting upright. Shoulder blades pull down, crown of the head reaches forwards. Staying here, or slowly folding forwards. And again, you can have something to rest the forearms on. You can stay onto fingertips, or maybe you don't want to lean forward at all. If you've leaned forward, slowly coming back up. And go ahead and find your way onto the ground. Hugging in the knees, maybe giving yourself a little massage with the earth. Hugging those knees in. And again, opening the arms out wide like wings. Or you can bend them into cactus arms. That's what I'm going to do, because there's actually a lot of cactus spines on the ground here. And the toes can meet the earth to shift the hips over to the right before letting the knees fall to the ground to the left. Having that simple twist. Breathing, allowing yourself to rest in silence, having that practice of silence. Slowly, belly button pulls to spine. Knees come back to center, toes find the ground. Engage the core, lift the hips, draw them over to the left so the knees can fall to the right. Notice that even in silence, your body is speaking, whether that's through the brain, through thought formation, through bodily sensation, feeling your own energy. Slowly, those knees come back to center. And go ahead and take a few moments to just do any other movements that are calling to you. Any at all. Doesn't have to be a pose you've seen anyone do before. Just has to be what feels good. Let yourself be intuitively guided. Doesn't matter what it looks like, just matters how it feels. And whenever you're ready, finding your way, no rush. You can even stay in a stretching position if that calls to you here. But just finding a way to end this class. Where do you want to be? To rest. And you can come all the way down with arms and legs spread wide, or you can do what I'm doing, hands resting onto the body somewhere, feet about the distance of the mat with knees falling in to rest upon one another. Imagining that bird being that I asked you to call on at the beginning of class, one that has been showing up for you lately. And maybe that's not even in person. Maybe it's photos online, or hearing its name spoken as you pass by somebody in the market. Maybe it's a being you've never seen but just have an affinity for. And ask them, as you're here in rest, integrating that practice we've just done, to send you any messages, any guidance they may have to share, if they're able and willing. And this doesn't have to be something grandiose. It might not even be a thought formation. You may not hear anything. It may just be the feeling of rest, of letting go, of being present. And I'm going to read you an excerpt from Padraig Otama's Oremus essay. So let us pick up the stones over which we stumble, friends, and build altars. Let us listen to the sound of breath in our bodies. Let us listen to the sound of our own voices, of our own names, of our own fears. Let us claw ourselves out from the graves we've dug. Let us lick the earth from our fingers. Let us look up and out and around. The world is big and wide and wild and wonderful and wicked. And our lives are murky, magnificent, malleable, and full of meaning. O Remus, let us pray. Staying in this rest for as long as the body is able, for as long as it craves, as long as the mind is willing. And whenever you do come out, perhaps taking a moment to reach the arms up to the sky, to thank the beings of the air, to thank the winged ones, the sky dancers, for all that they do, not only for joining us here, but for planting the seeds that they plant, for reminding us that our stories aren't the only ones unfolding, that there are languages that are spoken in ways that are complex and intricate and very different from human language. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And also perhaps bringing the hands down to the ground to touch the earth. Sending gratitude. A thank you for this earthly journey and all its beauty and all its messiness. And placing a hand to your heart, thanking you, all versions of you. And I thank you for being here. In honor of all of our teachers, human and other. Slightly hinging at the hips and bowing, humbling. Have a beautiful day.